Hours later.
Hey, what's up? Pizza Loving Nerd here. Today I just wanted to do a quick video on my opinion on Linux Mint. So, yeah. So, let's start off with why I hate Linux Mint and why I'm not using Linux Mint. So, why I hate Linux Mint. 1. I do not like the Cinnamon desktop environment, like, at all. Yeah, I know there's other editions of Linux Mint, I'll get to that, but Linux Mint Cinnamon edition, the desktop environment Cinnamon was made for Linux Mint, so yeah. The reason I don't like Linux, or not Linux Mint, Cinnamon is because I don't like the interface. It's not as customizable as KDE, XFCE, or even LXDE, and it can be unstable at times. Now for the other editions of Linux Mint, such as Mate, KDE, and XFCE. Now, I like those desktop environments. I like Mate, KDE is what I'm using right now, and I love XFCE. However, I don't really get the point of Linux Mint, XFCE, KDE, and Mate edition. Like, what's just stopping you from going to Ubuntu Mate, or Kubuntu, or even Xubuntu? Like, I don't really get why people like Linux Mint, Mate, and the other editions. Cinnamon makes sense because it's the only distro that is, like, made with Cinnamon in mind. But, you know what I mean? Like, Linux Mint is made to run with Cinnamon. So that's why I don't really get why it has other desktop environments. Now, stability is a irritating thing. I used to run Linux Mint as my main OS, and Cinnamon crashed at least once a day. Now, yeah, once a day is pretty good, considering that my Windows install crashes at least 5 times a day, like File Explorer crashes or something. But my KDE desktop almost never crashes. So, yeah. It crashes. Sometimes I have an animated desktop background, sometimes the desktop background crashes, but KDE itself never crashes. Now, it's pretty ugly. And yeah, you can change what it looks like, but the average Linux Mint isn't really made for a Linux power user. It's made for the average user who would be using Windows or Mac, so they wouldn't know how to customize it. Like, my grandma wouldn't know how to customize it. So that's why, and I think that whatever the default Ubuntu theme is called, I actually love that theme a lot, except I like my theme better. Well, not my theme, the theme I'm using. But as you can see, the window borders are ugly. Look at these are just ugly. The start menu is ugly, and the default icon theme is very ugly. Now, like I said, you can customize it, but most people, like grandmas and stuff, won't figure out how to customize it. Now, this isn't as much as a problem as it used to, but the Linux Mint website isn't very good, and since it's powered by WordPress, it's pretty easy to get hacked. And actually, I tried to get my friend into Linux around the time that the Linux Mint site got hacked, and he downloaded an infected ISO file. So, what a good first impression for Linux for him. So, yeah. Now, I hate the Linux Mint homepage on Firefox. When you install Linux Mint for the first time, you can't wait to open it up, and then you open up Firefox and you get this. Here it is. This is a terrible homepage for any Linux desktop. It's not modern. It uses Google. It should be using DuckDuckGo or at least Ecosa, which is what I use. Now, if I search something, this is very unmodern looking. It should redirect me to a Google search, but instead it just has some dumb HTML search. Now, it's good for fast computers, but I prefer this Google. and I don't even use Google that often. This Google is much more modern looking. So, yeah. Let's just get over that. Now, we're gonna go on why I love Linux Mint now. I still don't use it, but the problem with the Linux community is a lot of them are biased against their opinions. I like to look at both sides, so this is probably why some people use Linux Mint instead of any other distros. Now, I know I said I don't like cinnamon, but some people love cinnamon, and it's really the only distro that since Cinnamon's made by the Linux team, the Linux Mint team, it's officially supported in Linux Mint. Yeah, you can install Cinnamon on Arch Linux, but Cinnamon is made to be used with Linux Mint, and Linux Mint is made to be used with Cinnamon. Now, I am a sucker for rolling release distros. I don't like updating my system very much, and yes, I do use Ubuntu server, but still, if Ubuntu server or if Ubuntu became a rolling release, that would be a dream come true, but it isn't a rolling release. That's the problem. Linux Mint is easy to use. Other than customizing stuff, my grandma could use it. So, yeah. I could install it on her. She needs help with her Windows 8 setup all the time, and if I installed this on her computer, she's probably not going to need help anymore. Now, the Linux Mint community is massive. Linux Mint is one of the most used distributions in the world, so just going on their IRC chat is very helpful if you ever need help. So when I first got into Linux, I went onto the RIC chat and asked a bunch of questions, and they helped me out. Mint install is probably the best package manager out there, in my opinion. Yeah, there is Synaptic, but I love Mint install. It's great. I love it. I love how it's organized. I love how it's like almost bug free. And I even have it installed on this system. That screenshot is a screenshot I took. And also, the screenshots from the ugly slide, I took those in a virtual machine too, but still. And last but certainly not least, Linux Mint is Debian based. So Linux Mint has a lot of software because Debian's probably the most widely used distribution. Debian and its distros based off of Debian are the most used Linux distributions. So yeah, there's that. So if you're new to Linux, and you don't like compiling stuff from source, you're gonna want to use a Debian based distro. Just gonna say. So yeah, thanks for watching. That was pretty much everything, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.